World War I, also known as the First World War, or the Great War, was a devastating global conflict that lasted from July 28, 1914, to November 11, 1918. The war involved many of the world's great powers, which were divided into two major alliances, the Allies, consisting of countries like France, Russia, Britain, and later the United States, and the Central Powers, led by Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. The war was fought primarily in Europe but had a global impact, leading to profound social, political, and economic changes. The immediate cause of World War I was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, on June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo. The assassin, Gavrilo Princip, was a member of a Serbian nationalist group called the Black Hand, which sought independence for Serbia from Austro-Hungarian control. This assassination triggered a diplomatic crisis. Austria-Hungary, with the backing of its ally Germany, issued an ultimatum to Serbia. When Serbia did not fully comply with the terms, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28, 1914, due to a series of alliances. What began as a localized conflict quickly escalated into a full-scale war across Europe, involving many nations. However, the underlying causes of World War I had been building for decades. Militarism was one of the key factors. In the years leading up to the war, many European countries had engaged in an arms race, particularly Germany and Britain, which were building up massive military forces. This militarism created a climate where countries were ready and willing to go to war. Alliances also played a significant role. The two main alliances in Europe were the Triple Alliance, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy, and the Triple Entente, France, Russia, and Britain. These alliances meant that a conflict between two countries could quickly draw their allies into war, which is exactly what happened in 1914. Imperialism was another cause of the war. European powers were competing for colonies and resources, particularly in Africa and Asia. This competition created tensions and rivalries between countries, particularly between Germany, which was seeking to expand its empire, and established colonial powers like Britain and France. Lastly, nationalism played a major role. Many ethnic groups in Europe were seeking independence or greater autonomy, particularly in the Balkans. The assassination of Franz Ferdinand by a Serbian nationalist is an example of how nationalist sentiments contributed to the outbreak of war. Once war was declared, Europe descended into a brutal and bloody conflict. On the Western Front, in Belgium and France, armies dug extensive trenches, leading to a horrific form of warfare known as trench warfare. Soldiers lived in appalling conditions, facing constant bombardment, disease, and exposure to the elements. The battles on the Western Front, such as the Battle of the Somme and the Battle of Verdun, resulted in massive casualties with little territorial gain, leading to a stalemate that lasted for much of the war. The war saw the introduction of new and deadly technologies, including machine guns, tanks, poison gas, and aircraft, which made the fighting even more destructive. Naval warfare also played a crucial role, with German U-boats, submarines, targeting Allied shipping, leading to significant losses. The entry of the United States into the war in April 1917 on the side of the Allies helped tip the balance in favor of the Allies. The U.S. provided much-needed manpower, resources, and financial support. Meanwhile, on the Eastern Front, the war was fought between Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Russia. The conflict there was just as brutal, and by 1917, Russia was collapsing under the strain of the war, leading to the Russian Revolution. In March 1918, the new Bolshevik government signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany, effectively ending Russia's involvement in the war. The final year of the war saw the collapse of the Central Powers. Germany, weakened by economic hardship, internal unrest, and the Allied advances, sought an armistice. On November 11, 1918, an armistice was signed, bringing an end to the fighting. However, the war officially ended with the signing of the Treaty of Versailles in 1919, which imposed harsh penalties on Germany. The treaty required Germany to pay significant reparations, disarm, and lose territory, which led to widespread resentment and economic difficulties in the years that followed. World War I had far-reaching consequences. It led to the fall of several empires, including the Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, German, and Russian empires. The war also caused the deaths of an estimated 15–20 million people and left millions more wounded or displaced. The social and psychological effects of the war were profound, with many questioning the values and ideologies that had led to such widespread destruction. The war also set the stage for World War II. as the harsh conditions of the Treaty of Versailles and the unresolved political tensions created fertile ground for the rise of fascism in Europe, particularly in Germany under Adolf Hitler. In addition to the political changes, World War I had a significant impact on culture, art, and literature. Writers, poets, and artists who experienced the horrors of war reflected this in their work, leading to movements like modernism that questioned traditional values and highlighted the disillusionment of the post-war generation. In summary, World War I was a transformative event in world history. Its causes were rooted in long-standing tensions between European powers, and its aftermath reshaped the global order in ways that would have lasting effects throughout the 20th century. The war not only caused immense human suffering, but also laid the groundwork for many of the conflicts and political changes that would follow in its wake.